Hi sailors, it's time for a new podcast, and it's definitely time to return to the fabled Northwest Passage. We talked to Veronica and Nigel when they were in Greenland on the great ship Novara. Now they have completed the Northwest Passage, and as promised, we had to catch up with them again. They were anchored just outside Falls Pass on the verge to the Pacific, and they had some really interesting stories to tell, and definitely some pointers for those of you who want to sail both in cold climates and the Northwest Passage. And I think the North Passage starts to getting to me. Sounds like a good challenge. So listen to this podcast and be inspired. Well, it's time for a new podcast. I'm anchored in Hvaler, just outside Fredrikstad, Norway, and pretty much on the opposite of the world, at least 10-hour time zones away. We have Veronica and Nigel. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Morning. Where are you guys anchored?
We're just outside of Falls Pass. So Falls Pass is in the Aleutian Islands and essentially makes the break between mainland Alaska and the Aleutian Islands that run out to the west.
So the last time we spoke, that's just a few days shy of 2 months. No, that's a little bit more than 2 months. Actually, and you were in Greenland, and now you're actually completed the Northwest Passage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We just made it into the Pacific yesterday.
Yeah, coming from the Aleutian Islands made us into the Pacific, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the border. Border. That's the, There's a crossing line. How does it feel? Except that you might be a little bit tired?
Yeah, a little bit tired. And I mean,
it feels very good, actually. It feels very good. You know, this has been a long time in the planning to do this trip, basically since we left the UK in April 23, and prior to that, when we thought about what sort of boat we should buy, it was a boat that could take us through the Northwest Passage. So to actually have ticked that off, brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, years of planning, Veronica's right, and years of hard work. You know, having Novara is one thing, but then preparing the vessel for the rigors of the Arctic and making sure that the systems are reliable enough that they can keep us going in the Arctic for 3 months it took, we were doing quarterly maintenance stops for the best part of 2 years, fixing things, upgrading things, upgrading things, So the preparation alone was enormous. And then, I mean, the experience of sailing in the Arctic, amazing, awesome, just the rawness of the landscape, the ice working, being in the ice, the extent of the wildlife up there, polar bears and narwhals. It's like stuff out of fairy tales, beluga whales, all of these things. I don't think it certainly gets into your soul,
Talking about preparation, because you spent 2.5 years preparing, and how did it? You actually made the Northwest Passage, so you obviously did something right?
Yes.
What was the key preparation you did to manage to sail the Northwest Passage, you think?
Food.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
Quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Veronica was responsible for victualling and food, and morale on board is directly proportional to the quality of the food and the quantity. And we've eaten well. I think we've all probably put on weight.
I think we've put on weight. Yeah.
Yeah. So food for sure. The other thing is having the right people on board. Preparing a group of people who can work together, who have the skills necessary. That alone took us 2 years of having people on board. No, they're not appropriate. Yes, they're a must-have. I think we must have had one of the strongest crews, in terms of all of us on board Novara than most of the boats who went through, I would say.
Yes,
yeah, for sure.
So we have a professional navigator, 2 professional engineers, an ice pilot who's already done the Northwest Passage and owned Novara before, Steve Brown. So, tweaks and twerks he knew about. And 99.
And then the 2 of us who've lived on board for 3 years. So preparing the people side, and then there's the whole engineering side. We were so lucky to have people who are involved, who are on board at the moment, proper engineers, not people like me who are just learning, who are not, trained engineers, but people who know what they're doing, can both from a distance while they weren't on board guide us in terms of what systems needed to be upgraded or maintained. But while they've been on board, they've been able to fix, small problems. We've had only small problems, thank goodness. I guess and everything has had redundancies. So we lost our starter battery alternator. That's one of 2 things that went wrong. And we were able to get a workaround, so that'll get us to Homer where we can sort that out. And we were in a storm in the Amundsen Gulf. It was the biggest storm in 40 years. And we lost the wind instruments from the top of our mast. So those are the 2 things that went wrong. Touch wood, it's still not there, but yeah.
Yeah. So getting the right people and feeding them proper. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. And making sure that the heads don't block.
Always the heads, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you manage? No blocking of heads?
No blocking of heads.
That's
good.
Again, that was preventative maintenance we did.
Yeah.
A year ago. We completely replaced the macerator pump, but also cleaned out all the lines.
Yeah.
Knowing that that's a risk.
It's always a risk.
Yeah.
We talked about a little bit on the last podcast that it looked like there were 6 skippers on board.
Yeah.
How did that work out?
Yeah, we've got 4 highly professional people plus Veronica and me. It worked out well, but it took a lot of being grown up and adult about it.
Yep.
So in terms of, I'll just speak for myself, huh? So in terms of me, it took a lot of managing my ego and making sure that the right people were doing and making decisions at the right time, and that I didn't have to be involved, even though I felt like I should be. There were times when I just needed to step back and say, he's a professional engineer, navigator. Time for him to step in and for me to step back. She's a professional engineer. Leave it alone. She knows what she's doing. That sort of thing. Difficult.
It's difficult, but as the skipper, sometimes you have to do that, right?
Yeah. And Veronica?
Yeah.
Not so much for me. I think it was interesting to basically to step back and allow others to be really engaged by doing what they're good at, right? And Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Look, I'm the youngest of 10 children, so being in a space with lots of people is normal for me.
A
Yeah.
lot of experience. That's good.
Veronica's better with people than I am.
That's why we're on the boat in the middle of the Aleutians, huh?
Yeah.
Mm.
And it is a harsh environment to be such a small, to be a group of people. Anyhow,
Yes.
it's a minds game, isn't it?
Yes, it is a mind's game. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, even though we were getting off regularly through the Northwest Passage, a lot of the time we had to be making miles. So you're on board, making passage, and then, I guess, and then, once we got through the Amundsen Gulf, we've only been off the boat twice in the last 3,000 miles. Nome and Tuktoyaktuk.
And I think we had on the plus side of things, we had some positive. We had some things that we did every day, John. Like we would have a meal together every day, and in that I would ask everybody what it was that was good about the day, what was bad about the day, what was interesting, and also if there are any tweaks. Okay, so can you please make sure that the coffee cups are not banging around in the overnight so that people can get some sleep? Whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But it's those things that if you don't address them, become major. So I think that people knew that was going to come up each day. So if they said during the day, "Oh yeah, that's annoying me," okay. If it's still annoying you by dinner time, you raise it. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think that worked well. I have to ask the rest of the crew. Maybe they'll say that was a waste of time.
Well, you managed to keep the group for the whole time, so
That's
yes,
right.
it worked out.
We had a gun on board and no one used it.
In fact, we had it confiscated.
Yeah.
That's another story.
The story.
You had it confiscated?
Because
when we came into the US.
So we came
of course, yeah.
Came into the US. I'd applied for a license. The license didn't get to me in time, which meant that I was then illegally importing a gun. So the Customs and Border Control person took it away, and no.
But no more fuss than that. They just took it, or
they just took it. Yeah,
they just took it.
Yeah. They were very friendly about it. In fact, they didn't even ask us about guns, and we went later back to the customs people and said, "Look, you didn't ask about a gun. We've got one. What should we do?" And he said, "Oh, I wish you hadn't asked me that."
Yeah, he knew you had a gun on board. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it's done.
It's done. We're now legal.
Yeah, and you're going to visit a bunch of other countries, so you don't want a gun on board, do you?
No.
Very convenient way of getting rid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of guns, or rather polar bears, I saw this, and that's got to come on some magazine cover. The picture that Tamara Klink took about the polar bear.
Amazing.
Yeah. Trying to sniff out your flag.
Flag.
So cool.
We had just arrived after a passage, so we were all pretty tired and had gone to sleep and didn't realise it was a polar bear trying to get onto the boat via the flag.
No, but it was a bigger story than that, because there were there were 4 boats in the harbour, and that polar bear had got on board Tamara Klink's boat and had tried to get on board another boat. So they were all trying to radio us. We'd turned our radio off so we could get some sleep. But they were trying to radio us.
Yeah.
And the polar bear had got on board Tamara's boat and had broken into her life raft looking for the emergency ration food, and so had destroyed her life raft. And then she had turned her engine on from inside and scared it, so it jumped in the water and came over to us. And this was 2 a.m. Of course, it's light all the time there. And she was taking photos of us, of the boat, and the polar bear and the other boat was trying to raise us on the radio, and we were completely oblivious.
Although
yeah.
Although the next night, we have a what's called a Panama step that folds down and has two lines that hold it in place, and those lines were dangling on the outside rather than the inside of the boat. And the next night, and that's right where my head is when we're sleeping, and I was pretty sure that it had another attempt to get on the next night, and I woke up and I thought, I think that's the polar bear. Am I going to investigate? The answer to that is no. It can't get on board. I know it can't actually get on board, so I'm not going to go out there and find out. So, yeah.
Because Tamara, she has a 38, same size as Ella, doesn't she? So it's
slightly bigger than Ella. Yeah,
slightly bigger, 40 maybe. Yeah,
maybe, and she has a sugar scoop stern.
Oh, that's a step. Yeah.
And which is interesting.
Yes.
The boats that have sugar scoop sterns are at risk of polar bears getting on. Turnstone, who was, they're just nearby us now. They came through False Pass the day before us. They actually put an alarm on their sugar scoop stern, and that's what scared the bear off when it broke the alarm.
Nice. Like you have around tents with a...
Yep, like a wire.
Yeah, a wire and a bang. Whatever you call it. Yep.
But for Novara, because we have a canoe stern and relatively high topsides, it's not a problem. But yeah, for boats, there's a lesson for anyone coming through. If you're buying a boat, be very wary of sugar scoop sterns.
Scary. Did you see a lot of polar bears?
No, 3, 4.
Yeah, 3, 4. We didn't see a huge amount of wildlife, to be honest. Polar bears, we saw 3 or 4. 1 caribou.
Muskox, we saw
muskox.
Yeah, Ilulissat in Greenland. They were beautiful.
Yeah. Lots of seals, but not huge numbers. And not so many whales or beluga. Up around there, a lot of hunting goes on. So I wonder whether they keep away from the open passages and head north during the summer period to avoid people. Not even so much bird life. We've been noticing the increase in wildlife as we come south.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, there's more for them to eat. I mean, it's greener and, it's very...
It's barren up there.
It's Arctic desert.
And the ice situation, when we were talking, you said that the passage actually was open before you left. How was it going through?
So the Eastern Arctic was open. So in fact, we came through the Ballot Strait and very easily. And then we said, we haven't even seen any ice. We've got an ice pilot on board. So we went, instead of going directly south to Johaven, we went down, Queen Maud?
The
Queen Victoria Strait, and went and found some ice to play with, which was really good experience. And then we backtracked to Johaven and then went west again to Cambridge Bay.
So that was...
and so that was clear. But then there was this, because there'd been a lot of ice melting from the north, it had clogged the Amundsen Gulf, and getting through the Amundsen Gulf was difficult. And
that was the scariest part for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this storm as we were approaching. We were coming through the Dolphin and Union, up into towards the Amundsen Gulf. We could see a massive weather system coming down, and you could see that it was not going to be pleasant. So we made a decision to head to the north side of the Amundsen Gulf, up towards King's Harbour. And it was the right decision to make, but it ran the risk of us being blocked towards the west, where because the Amundsen Gulf is open to the north, and because the wind was blowing in from the north, the ice would be coming down into the Amundsen Gulf and block. So anyway, it was a risk, but we avoided the 70-knot winds that other boats got that were in around Pierce and Summer Island. in the Franklin Sound.
Parry.
Was around Parry. So they had 70 knot winds. In Tuktoyaktuk, they had 110 knot winds and a 5-foot sea surge. So we only had 40 knots. So we were okay, roughly. When we came out of the...
it's a good bit of navigating, actually.
Bit of navigating, yeah.
By Seeger, who read all the
signs
and said, right, we should be there. So, yeah, he did very well.
So we came out of there, but sure enough, a lot more ice had come down, and there was a long ice tongue that stretched from the northeast to the southwest of the Amundsen. And we got down to the southern point of that and rounded it, but then to get further northwest, there was another piece of ice that we tried to get through, and we actually got stuck for about 2 hours. We were looking for a lead on the shore, pushed into the ice, thinking it was a mistake. We were going in the dark, which we shouldn't have done. And we basically got stuck in 7/10 ice, maybe even more, and had a couple of desperate hours pushing and pulling. And
so what happened is we poked our nose in, seeing that there was clear water 50 metres away, right? And the moment we poked the bar in, we realised that it wasn't going to go anywhere and we needed to back out. But what we hadn't really accounted for was that the ice was moving very fast towards us. And so by the time we went to back out, we didn't have space to back out. And when we had eventually turned Novara around, which was kind of all hands to do that, we had 200 metres of ice behind us instead of 10 metres of ice behind us.
Yeah.
So then it was a battle to get through that. But this is where Novara really showed her strength. We had ice scraping on every inch of it. I'm sure we had the hull cleaned. We certainly lost our transducer. But she was she was no problem at all. She's a mighty boat, and she really was the very best that we could have had in that situation, and she held up very well. So it was gratifying to know that we could get stuck and we could get unstuck in this boat, and bless her.
I think a lesser boat could well have either been stuck there for a longer period of time or been damaged and potentially sunk because of that. We were in some and the problem was the ice was multi-year ice and very, very hard and very thick. Anyway, we got through, thank goodness, and recovered, and then got around Bathurst out of the Amundsen, recovered in Tuktoyaktuk, and then we've done 2 big passages, Tuk to Nome, and then Nome now to here, and we've got 600 miles only to go now to our winter in Homer.
If Novara is an ice strength boat with a lifting keel and everything, but and you were going into the ice till it poked your head in to see what was going on, would you have done the same if you had another boat?
No. The other boats that were with us avoided touching the ice.
So Agira Ohio was with us that evening, and we would open up a lead and they follow us through that lead. But we went to open up the second lead, and that's when we got stuck. And bless them, they launched their dinghy to see if they could come and assist, but they couldn't get close. So they made different decisions because they had a different boat. Fine. And actually, in the end, we were all pretty tired, and we followed their light to where they found a safe spot and dropped anchor. And then we just dropped anchor relatively close.
Yeah. But to answer your question, the other boats avoid touching ice. We don't have a problem with taking it. We come up really slow till we touch, and then we can put power, and we can push ice away, big flows relatively. With the power of our engine, we can
Come up onto it and brake.
We can drive Novara up onto the ice if it's thin enough and brake it. And this, because we've got multiple stringers and double ribs, the strength of the hull when we had ice pressing from the sides was not a problem. Yeah, she's a mighty boat.
Mini icebreaker with 2 masts.
With 2 masts, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, ice strengthened.
Ice strengthened for sure.
Ice strengthened, yeah. Now, how was the mood aboard when you were stuck?
Calm.
Yeah, I think I had a couple of moments when I thought about what ifs, but you quickly bring your mind back to no, we just got to get out of this. Yes, so just got to move that chunk, or get around this bit, or reverse out of there. So, and actually, you're so focused on the moment that it's only when you let your brain rattle somewhere else that it becomes an issue. If you stay in the present, you're okay.
Yeah, and we've got essentially professional mariners on the boat. They're well trained in difficult situations, so they were amazing. Yeah.
You said you traveled with. Did you travel with other boats, or did you always take your own decisions on when to go and where to go, and how was the dynamics there?
The latter, I think, was leapfrogging, and we always made our own decisions, but we knew where everyone was. Most people had Starlink, and so we have a Northwest Passage WhatsApp group, and so boats could check in one another and check what the ice conditions were, where the people were, make sure everyone's okay. But like I said, when we went to Kings Harbour in the Munster Gulf, others decided to go to Summer Harbour in the south.
Aguirre came to Kings.
Aguirre came to Kings. So, everyone made their own decision, and you have to, I think. Yeah. And we just kept in touch. Yeah.
How was it? You had 2 young female solo sailors up there, which is never. I don't think that's never happened before.
No.
Did you? Did you? I know you helped them a little bit from time to time, but how was it to have Tamara and Ella around?
Well, Ella has done spectacularly well to be the first British woman to solo sail through the Northwest Passage. Like chapeau, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is Tamara the first woman solo through? She must be.
I don't think so.
First Brazilian woman. She's the first Brazilian woman.
Yeah, I think it was the first British and first Brazilian. Yep.
Yeah. So absolutely brilliant. I think that they're really, from me, they're really inspiring. We think that we're doing okay just doing it. Right?
Yeah.
To do it solo, and in smaller boats that are slower.
So impressive.
It's so impressive. So impressive. I mean, we at that stage we had either 5 or 6 of us on board, and we get tired. Can you imagine only taking 20 minutes sleep
for weeks,
for months?
Yeah.
Absolutely, hats off to them. They're just they've done spectacularly well.
And you said we offered them help. They didn't need much help, to be honest. The help we gave Ella was we filled her jerry cans from our jerry cans so that she had more fuel because we had plenty.
Yep.
We did a lot. This is a very funny story. So we've got a tiny washing machine on board to do basically our undergarments, and so we offered Ella to throw some things in the wash when we did one in Fort Ross, and when I was folding them all, just as we're going through the Ballot Strait, we realised that we had one of Ella's thermal tops on board. So we were passing her on the Ballot Strait, and we get out this pole, and
our ice pole.
Our ice pole. with Ella's T-shirt on the other end of it and basically come up alongside her so that she can grab her T-shirt back again.
I bet that has never happened in the balustrade before either. So no,
it's a world first laundry delivery in the balustrade.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but amazing, and they've been part of the community, Tamara and Ella, of that sort of Northwest Passage group.
Yeah, it's really lovely to
privileged to
be part of that.
Yeah,
to be a witness to that.
Mm.
Yeah. How many boats were you in the WhatsApp group that went through?
10 maybe?
10 maybe. So there was a Sarasara, which was a fast powerboat, who's probably first through.
Mm-hmm.
Turnstone, Tamara, Yeva. That's so.
Just
Yeva,
having a quick count now.
Agio, Ohio, us.
3, 4.
And there are more. I'm sure there's more that I've dropped off.
About 10.
About 10.
About 10. Yep.
Mm. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much a normal for a decent year. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you get in contact with some of the communities while you were traveling?
Yes, we did, and actually it's really funny. We backtracked to go to Johaven, but we met with the chief administrative officer there, and then followed up and had a more in-depth conversation with her later. And so I'm going to be doing some coaching and facilitation work, and I'm already doing coaching work for members of the community in Johaven, and I'll continue to do that and some facilitation work in the future as well. So from our perspective of the Novara One Planet work, it's been a successful trip.
And we've interviewed
to get time to actually spend some time with them.
And so cool that they were open to us. I think there is we've noticed it before, John, but there is a welcoming attitude to people who arrive by sea. This was no exception. We've had a welcome all the way through, and that's been really lovely.
Yeah, speaking of coming by sea, I was following you guys on the marine traffic, and you were not the smallest ship up there.
No.
Did you see that? I think I saw 2 cruise ships. One of them was the Norwegian Hurtigruten, and one French, I think, something. Did you get in contact with them?
Yep.
National Geographic one was in the
National Geographic was, yep.
NG Resolution, I think it was. We saw them in the Ballot Strait, and they did. Actually, it was really quite inspiring because on the radio they hailed Ella on Yeva, and the captain of the NG Resolution was a woman, and was then had the whole of the bridge give a round of applause over the radio to Ella for what she was doing, and we were listening on the radio to all this. It was like I don't know. It was part of it being a maritime community, in the way that people do things on the sea, is acknowledging one another and supporting one another.
And that happened to be at the point in the ballot where it was the most northernmost point of the America's mainland. So it was lovely.
Zenith Point or something?
Zenith Point, yes, that's it.
What's the plan from now on until Homer?
Well, we've got about how many days to go? 6-7 days, something like that, to get to Homer. So we're going to enjoy the Aleutian Islands, sail up to Kodiak, and then once we get into Homer, it'll be putting the boat to bed to winterize her, and then we get some time off the boat, which I think we're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a lot.
Yeah, we were speaking to our daughter last night who's in Vienna, and I'm asking her to book some something cultural to go to.
Had enough of nature?
Nope.
Not. I've
No.
had enough, but I'm looking forward to doing other things too.
Yeah, it's important to have a little bit of variation. I can understand
Yeah.
you've been a little bit too much.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me, and good luck racing anchor and going the last stretch. It's been really inspiring to follow you guys, and hope we can meet up some other time too.
Yes, thank you, John.
Absolutely, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Bye bye. Hi again, sailors, and thank you for listening to this podcast. You will find more podcasts on explorenorth.no, both in Norwegian and in English. If you want to know more about sailing in cold waters, I can highly recommend, without blushing, the book I wrote together with Bob Shepton. It's called, surprise, surprise, High Latitude Sailing, Self-Sufficient Sailing Techniques for Cold Waters and Winter Seasons. It covers pretty much everything you need to know to get out sailing the whole year round and sailing to remote places in the world. You'll find it, you can buy the book on explorenorth.no, on Amazon, or have your bookstore order it. If you're interested in Svalbard, I also wrote Sail to Svalbard. You can buy them at the same places. So please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions at all. You'll find me on explorenorth.no. In the meantime, go out sailing.